Chris Carter introducing the scenes deleted from episodes during the third season. This is from Blessing Way, which was the season opener. Scully comes home to see her mother, and a portion of the scene is left intact. Scully breaking down, unable to talk to anyone else but her mother, to tell her things that she has no one else to tell. She's feeling very guilty about the loss of Mulder, that he may be dead, that she should have done more, that she should have acted differently. And
you did what you thought was right.
in a very heart-to-heart conversation, which is now removed, deleted from the episode, she talks about what she should have done, how she should have behaved, and how her loyalties to the FBI were greater than her loyalties to Mulder, and that she doesn't know what the truth is now. She's very confused, and she becomes angry because of her confusion. And the scene is really more about character than it is about story, because she's speaking about what she should have done. And that's why it could be deleted. It leads into a scene with her sister Melissa that is also important in terms of her character, but had to be deleted as well. It was sad to have to omit this scene, probably more due to time than anything else, because it was particularly well acted by Sheila Larkin and by Gillian, and then by Melinda McGraw, who played Scully's sister. What was important about this setup was Scully would end up having an argument with her sister about Mulder, her sister who was very different from her, who was intuitive and really came at life from her gut and her instincts and a sort of spiritual side that Scully didn't have. She told Scully that she didn't believe what she was saying, which was that Mulder was dead. She felt that Scully truly hoped and wished Mulder were alive, and she believed, in fact, Mulder may be alive too. The argument that came out of this really set up the ultimate and very then conflicted loss Scully would have of her sister when she was murdered mistakenly, the murderers believing that they were murdering Scully. So she really left her relationship with her sister completely unresolved. And
Melissa, don't do this.
I think that left an interesting dramatic approach if we would have been able to take it in a more complex way on the back of this scene.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel so sure. You need a second opinion.
This isn't a medical condition, Melissa. It is a statement of fact. It's either true or it isn't. And based on the empirical evidence which I happen to have gathered, it's a pretty damn sure bet that you're whistling in the wind.
I'm sorry. Look, I know that you're feeling a lot of things right now. You may even be feeling responsible. But if you can just try and see through your guilt and your anger, then maybe you can look past this Western empiricism.
I'll make sure to consult my tarot cards when I'm out looking for a new job. Thank you. Melissa, I have lost somebody. I would like to deal with it in my own way.
The men who had come and threatened us did not return to our house again.
This is from Clyde Bruckman's Final Repose, which was episode 4 of the third season.
What you did to my pen?
It's funny to me now, looking back, that we actually cut this scene out because I didn't remember that it had been cut out. I think of this as one of those perfect little episodes. It was so charming and well written and well directed by David Nutter, written by Darren Morgan. This is one of those scenes that is plays very funny, but it is the whole scene is actually extraneous to the picture, but because it's so well written, it remains almost intact. Only a small portion, I think, was cut out, which was after Scully's kind of scene-ending line about, I think the case is almost solved. So the scene actually has two endings. that line, which is now the ending, and an ending after Mulder walks over and picks up a doll and ruminates on the nature of psychics and psychic phenomena and what he wishes were
someone who possesses the ability to see,
psychic who would come out and explain all things paranormal. It's probably a scene that could have stayed in and been very charming, but because of airtime and pace, probably was omitted.
Someday your psychic will come.
So General Mutual has a very comprehensive $200,000 life policy at a net annual cost of $2,400.
You see, the thing is, we were really hoping to buy a boat.
These are deleted scenes from The List, which aired as episode 5 of the 3rd season. I directed this episode and wrote it. It was the second time I'd ever directed. I look back now and see that there were scenes that actually could have been cut from the script and probably didn't need to be filmed. The episode is about a man, Neach Manley, who claims he's going to come back, reincarnate, to avenge the treatment he has gotten while in prison. It's not whether he's innocent or guilty, but he's going to come back and punish those who have treated him wrongly. And the deleted scenes have to do mostly with the characters who feel most threatened by this pronouncement and their character setup of their nervousness. There's a scene where a character named Bobby Sherez, who was his lawyer, goes to talk to the governor. He'd like to see the sentence commuted because he's afraid that Neach is a powerful enough man that he can actually do what he's predicted. And so when he goes to the governor, it really is more about his nervousness than anything to do with the bigger story. So I think that it went, and the picture benefited from it. The second scene is a long dead man walking scene where Neach Manley, after having his legs shaved, is taken by the warden and a character named Parmalee, who will ultimately also fear for his life because he has other betrayal and secrets that he fears Neach will either know about, find out about, or will come to avenge. The walk down the corridor is really about Neach's relationships with other inmates who believe him and who have nothing to fear, including a character named Speranza, who's played wonderfully by John Toles-Bay.
I see you first, Hoss.
And then a character named Roque, who is very afraid of Neach, but is taunting and is disbelieving of his abilities, or at least in his taunt hopes that he can shake the soul of this man. Those were really character setups as well, and did not propel the story, and were ultimately easily lost. The scene in Neach's cell then cuts right to the execution room, where he sees the chair for the first time, and Neach Manley is led in, where he will make his proclamations about who will die as a result of his mistreatment.
He's bleeding again, isn't he?
Yes, how did you know that?
Because the faithful know.
Mr. Crowder, the claims you've made for your son may have put him in danger. Do you know that?
The child was in danger long before I ever made the claims. Since the day he was born, they've been watching him.
They?
The forces of darkness. They will come in the form of a powerful and respected man.
These forces, what do they want?
To claim all souls.
This is Revelation, the scene that was cut, featuring our guest star, Sam Bottoms. I think this is a very surprisingly good episode. There was tremendous amount of work done on this episode by Darren Morgan, uncredited, And this is one of the scenes that I think plays more to the millennial idea of the show, which is that the forces of evil are gathering, and that the father of the kid in the show, Kevin Kreider, is very much affected by these forces and believes them, and speaks a bit of gibberish in this scene that Scully understands, and Mulder will ultimately be propelled into the hallway to ask her what that piece of gibberish was and how she was able to understand it. And Scully says she doesn't know what he's talking about, as if it never happened. So it really adds to the sort of mystery, the X-File, because the story sort of worked without this scene, and because I'm sure we were long on time and short on airtime, the scene would ultimately go into the garbage.
The two kids are running down this long hallway. But all the doors are locked. There's nowhere to go. Soon they'll both be toast. They can hear his bloody leg dragging on the floor. The mutant is on their trail, hungry for the taste of young meat.
See this pattern here? It's created by whoever was behind the wheel when the airbag deployed.
Doesn't look like a face.
Not yet. First I'm scanning the pattern. And I'm running it through software which translates its varying densities into a dimensionalized likeness. After that, it's a matter of fine-tuning.
Well, how long does that fine-tuning take?
You need this in a hurry, it sounds like.
I'm the only one who needs it.
This is a scene deleted from Avatar, episode 21 of the third season. The cigarette-smoking man was introduced into the episode to really be the devil, to offer Skinner another way out of his predicament, and it was unnecessary. The predicament was tense enough, nervous enough, and good enough without it. So what was really just a mood-heightening or a tension-heightening scene would be lost for reasons of time, but also because it was unimportant to the story. It was really just to make Skinner realize that there were other forces at work.
Favors, which gives me leverage to influence certain outcomes.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
There are people who have been questioning your allegiance for some time, who require further assurances.
My only allegiance is to the FBI. That hasn't changed since the day I took my oath.
You're about to see how the Bureau rewards that kind of blind loyalty. Maybe you should start thinking about protecting your own interests.
At what cost?
It's your ass on the line.
We're still waiting for Agent Mulder?
Yes, sir.
We're finished waiting. I'm going to begin without him. Have a seat.
Look, I need some money.
That can be arranged.
Can you meet me?
Where would you like to meet?
The Ambassador Hotel at... In an hour?
I'm close. I'll see you in an hour.
I just extubated her a few minutes ago. She's breathing fine on her own. I'm anticipating a fast and full recovery.
If I talk to her, can she hear me?
She's still heavily sedated. But some studies have shown brainwaves to change with auditory stimuli, so...
I had to tell you, Sharon, before anything else happens. I'm not signing those papers.